I like Danganronpa, I thought I would talk about the anime, and the anime I'm talking about is Danganronpa 3 that has the, the three different arcs, the future arc, the despair arc, which is the past, and then the hope arc, which is like the final episode, plus there's the OVA too. But let's talk about this, because this anime was disappointing and a lot of missed opportunities. Especially because this anime really could have done something like really special, especially reuniting like the first three games, meaning like Danganronpa 1, 2, and then Ultra Despair Girls, and like ending it off like amazingly. Like this anime could have done that and bridged that gap and like answered a lot of different questions that need to be answered in the series, but instead we got something different. Just because I say it's disappointing doesn't mean it's bad, because the anime is still pretty decent. I know in the fandom there's a lot of people that either hate it or they don't really care, they think it's okay, but like it's not that bad. Like there's a lot of problems. In this video I'm gonna go over some of the stuff I thought it was good, and then some of the stuff I thought was bad, and then like a little bit of like something that's good slash bad, because there were a few things, and maybe also some missed opportunities, because there were some missed opportunities that just seem like if they could have added this, it would have made it better. And like, especially because, even in the series, especially Danganronpa 1 and 2, and even a little bit of Ultra Despair Girls, there's a lot of stuff that still is unanswered, and like you have to read it either in books to learn stuff, or there's certain scenes that they should have shown that they did not show, which makes no sense why they didn't. But let's get into the good. Now, the first thing I want to talk about when it's the good is, on the despair side, is the opening. Like, bro, they dropped the top 5 opening of all time. Like, bro, with that dun 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 dun. Yes, that opening is so good, and like all the visuals too, because like you're seeing everybody from the 77th class, yet 77th class, like in the opening and all that, and like, oh my gosh, like that song is so amazing, and I love the visuals too. But yes, the song is amazing. That's like the one thing about it. I was like, bro, as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm about to be in a ride. And like, I knew it because that opening's so good. But yeah, let's get into some of the other stuff that's good about the anime. Now, one of the things I really enjoyed about the Despair side is that we get to see more of the Danganronpa 2 cast. Because like I said, I love them. Danganronpa 2 is my favorite game. And of course, I love seeing the cast, because like they're all like really good characters. I know there's certain discrepancies that people have with like certain voice actors, and we're getting into like the script and all that, because some of like the voice actors portrayed the characters differently than what they are in the game, especially basically because of the script. But we'll get into that later in the bad part, because there's something around, we'll talk about that for the English dub later. But yes, I love seeing the cast, because we got to see more of their personality, and we got to see how they were in class, like literally regular class, and like how they really were in like regular life and stuff like that. So it wasn't that bad. Like I enjoyed it. We got to see all of them with their school life and like without no killing and all that. So it was pretty interesting. That's why I liked seeing them. And we got to see the real Chiaki. So that was interesting too, and we got to see like how she like literally grows into what she becomes, and how like she's literally the class rep of the whole class, and like everybody looks up to her and stuff like that. So that was one of the good things I really liked, was just seeing the Danganronpa 2 cast, because it's just like, it was always nice seeing them, because it's like, if you like Danganronpa 2, you just like, yes, you want to see them all the time, because they are a good cast, and like they're all really good and like really good characters, and it's just like we got to see them animated, and we got to see some of their personalities again. So that was one of the things I really liked a lot. Another thing I really liked about the Despair side is like we got to see Makuro, because we don't even see her in the game besides like a picture, and like like we see her when she's like cosplaying basically as Junko, because she's disguising herself as Junko, I should say. But that's the only time we really get to see her, and we get to see in the anime what's her personality like, because we really don't know much besides like books and stuff like that. Of course, if you read certain books, you'll learn a little bit about her, but it was interesting seeing her, because that was just like a good thing. It does suck that like in Danganronpa S that they didn't include her sprite, when it's like, bro, you had her in the anime, you could have just put her sprite there, but instead they put the Junko version of her. But yeah, we got to see her, and that was like one of the little things I really liked. And then another thing is the OVA. That is like the OVA that shows like Nagato, what's happening inside his head. That was like really interesting, because it gave a perspective like what Hajime had to go through to like save all of the Danganronpa 2 cast, like after like literally what happens at the end of the game, when, spoiler, a lot of them were already like killed inside the game, and like their brains and stuff like that. Whatever, we're good. If you know, you watch, you play the game if you know. But yeah, we get to literally see like how he goes inside their mind and rescues them and brings them back to like, makes their mind like sane again and all that. And like that was interesting, because it just gave us some different perspective of what they had to do. So like I like that part. That was like one of the good things, because it adds some more. It gave us some more depth to the Danganronpa 2 cast. Like especially the game gave us like literally another ending, or just showing us like what actually happened and how he saved them, and how they literally got to where they are at the end of this anime, because that happened. So that was like one of the things I really did enjoy. Like that was like an interesting part. Like I really like that because it just gave us that little perspective, and it was like, oh, this is literally what's happening, and like where they're all at and how they got out of this game. Because like they said, like they basically would be dead because they died in the game, and like stuff would fry, other type of stuff or whatever. But yeah, that was like the one interesting thing about it. So another thing I really enjoyed was seeing Fuuhiko's like little sister, because like she literally plays a part in the Twilight syndrome case, literally in Danganronpa 2. So it was like interesting seeing her and of course seeing Maharu's friend. We got to see like them, because like we didn't really get to see what they looked like in the games, but like we got to see them in the anime, and that was like really interesting. I really like that. Another part that I've enjoyed about the Despair side is that like you literally get to see the 78th class from like Danganronpa 1. We literally get to see them like building the school, so like that was interesting, because like when they're like putting up all the stuff to cover the wall, so it just shows that like, yeah, they're the ones that actually put this together, because like you learn about that in the first game, that they're the ones that did it, but then we got to actually see it in the anime, and that was like pretty interesting. And I was like, oh, I actually messed with that, because it just gave us like some little like backstory and stuff like that. Like the future side really, or I should say the Despair side, really just gives us little insight about it. They use what they did. There's certain stuff that's okay. So another thing I really found that was like pretty interesting, like it was okay, but I think in the light novels it might have like, they might have went into more detail about certain stuff. In the anime, I don't think showed as much as it could have. But that's when Junko does the first killing game with the student council of Hope's Peak, and like that was pretty interesting, because it just shows like, it gave us that little background of like what happens there, and that was interesting. Also seeing the reserve course and seeing like how they were, and like how fast like the fire spread, like when Junko does what she does and how fast it spread, was just like interesting, because like that was always interesting, just because I was always wondering like in the games, like how did the reserve course just go like this, and why did they all commit what they committed, and I was just wondering like why. But then you see how fast it spreads, and how fast like she just takes control of literally basically all the reserve course, which is crazy. Like it is crazy that she does that, because it's really crazy, because like Junko, it just shows like Junko's power and like her despair and everything. But let's get into the stuff I thought was either good or bad, because there are a few things I want to talk about that's like good slash bad. Now, something that's good slash bad is the watch order, because like it's unique, but it's like, did you really need to do this watch order? Because you got to start with the future side, then you go to despair side, and you keep switching all the way into the end. It's good, but it's bad. Because like the one thing I think about is like, what if somebody like owns this on Blu-ray, or if you go to like a literally a pirated anime site, and literally they only and they have them separated. That's like stuff like that I think about. Like then you have to like literally go out your way to do the watch order. At least like if you watch this on Funimation, they have them like literally on top of each other, so you can just switch in between them. So that's always like interesting. But that, like I said, it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing, that watch order. But it's okay. It's like, it's unique though, because most anime don't do stuff like this. I mean, because most anime, either they're just going to have like a full 24 episode season, or they're not going to make like 2 different anime seasons at the same, or whatever they, I don't know exactly, I forgot exactly like when, I think these both aired at the same time, I don't remember exactly, but the watch order is very interesting, but it's not the best thing it could have done. It just seems like did you really need to do this watch order like this? Because it's kind of like, it's weird. I don't know, that watch order is weird. Now the next thing, now this relates to the future side, like it was good slash bad slash kind of wasted potential. And I would say Tengen literally being the mastermind, because like it's good slash bad in my opinion, mainly because it's like, yes, he has some, it was interesting having somebody that's literally on the side of hope literally go and become a mastermind. So like that's why it was interesting, but at the same time it just seemed like it was executed poorly, especially with the hypnotizing and stuff like that. It just seemed like it wasn't really the best, and like it could have been used better. Then that goes me to my next point with the battle royale. It was like, did we really need that? Because it just seemed like because like usually, like in this games, it wasn't really no battle royale. It was just like cases and other stuff like that. It just seemed like they're trying to add action to this series that really is not an action series. So I don't know, just kind of just seemed like, did you really need to do this? Just go off killing people like this? It was just like, why? And then the last thing I want to talk about is Junko. Junko was good slash bad, because I just feel like a lot of the stuff that happens in the anime is so different than what she is in the games, and it feels like we should have saw more or different sides of her. I feel like it just seems like, yes, we know because she's always bored, and that's why she does the stuff that she does, and that's why like she wants to see like despair, because like everything in her life she's always got what she wanted, or she always wins stuff, and like she always sees that despair is like the best thing ever over hope and stuff like that. It just seemed like in the show she was so super nonchalant. Like, I know she's supposed to have like luck too as part of her despair or whatever, but it just seemed like she was so nonchalant about everything. I don't know. It just didn't seem like it fit with the Junko we saw in the games. But at the same time, you could say that we only saw her really at the end, and we didn't see like her full personality, I guess you could say. But I don't know. Junko just seemed like off for me as sometimes in the anime. It just seemed like that. But I mean, we got to see more of her and just like how she became the way she was. In a way, we saw certain aspects of her. We were missing still a lot of stuff, trust me. We were missing a lot. There was a lot that was still missing, but we saw certain aspects of it. So yeah, though, you see, I barely talked about the future for the good part, because the future really has a lot of bad stuff. The future arc really does, I'll say that. And one of the things is they introduce us to a lot of new characters just to kill them off. The only people we really learn that much about is Juzo, Kosuke, and then Chisa, or Chisa, however you say her name. We really only know stuff about them because we get backstory in the Despair arc. We get backstory about them. So besides them, everybody else, yes, there is like the one girl that looks like a snake-ish, and then like her friend that literally has like the candy and the sweets. Yes, we have them too, but their stuff was like super short. But it's just like they killed these characters. It was like, what was the point of introducing us to all these new characters, like all these people that are past, that literally were like from Hope's Peak, like from the past, or either worked there or they went through the school some type of way. It was like, what was the point of introducing them just to kill them off? Like, literally, they killed the wrestler dude so fast. They killed, like, the one dude that had the afro so fast. It's like, bro, we barely knew anything about them. What was the point? Like, it's, like, this anime, like, is different than a game. Because, like, in a game, like, if these people die, like, in the first arc or something, we would learn stuff about them. In this, we barely didn't get to know them. We don't know nothing really about their personality. It's just, like, they killed them off so fast. And it was just, like, what was the point of, like, introducing all these characters? And, like, I just felt like that was really bad. Maybe it could have been just because this anime only had 24 episodes, and like even the future arc really only had 12, and then you had the 13, which is Hope. It was just like so much wasted potential. I kind of didn't like the brainwashing. Like, that was kind of stupid. Like, I feel like it would have been better just to see like Junko use her charisma, like the way she shows it off, like to use her charisma to show like this is how like she gets these people to her side, instead of like some brainwashing. The brainwashing just seemed so stupid and like more super anime-y type of stuff. It just didn't, it just felt like so, like, it didn't fit the game. Like, I'm seeing, like, so you're telling me Mikan became this infatuated with Junko just because of literally being hypnotized? And I'm like, I feel like that was kind of stupid, and they could have done something way better. I feel like that was just, like, a very dumb thing. Like, bro, you're telling me all the stuff that she did happened because of hypnotism? And I'm like, bro, it's very stupid. And I'm like, just because people saw a video and it messed with something with their brains and all that, I didn't like that at all. I feel like they could have, like, it could have been like Junko's charm. Like, they could have done so much other stuff than just hypnotism that would have been like way more interesting. But sadly, they went with hypnotism, and that's what literally got it. It's like, yeah, I just feel like that was stupid. I mean, I might be one person that thinks that, but like, I feel like that was very stupid, and they could have done something way better. Like, it just seemed like that was kind of stupid, and like, and it kind of was wasted potential, because we could have saw like a different side of Junko, like how she basically got all these people to her side, but instead we just got hypnotism and all that. So I didn't really like that like that. So let's talk about the English dub. Now, the English dub really is bad. It's bad. It seemed like they literally went in there and wrote a script and just said, fuck it. Because like there's a lot of stuff in there that just like displays the characters wrong, or like some of the stuff they say, they're trying to say too much like pop culture type of stuff. It just didn't fit. It just didn't feel like it fit the series, especially. And then like you watch the sub, and like the sub like sounds so much better. It's like, I don't know what they were doing with the dub. I think they just went in there and just didn't care. That's what it seems like, in my opinion. They really went there. Now, one of the things I want to say is the reason why this anime, in my opinion, really suffered and what was really bad is that they really split this anime into two different arcs. So there was literally not enough space to really expand this out the way it is. Because like we get the Despair arc, and then we get the Future arc, and then you get that one episode that's Hope. But it's like, honestly, this anime needed way more episodes. Or what they should have done is like literally you make the Despair arc 24 episodes, and then like a season, like maybe like the following year you do the Future arc and make it 24 episodes. Because like it seems like each of these needed more episodes that they could have expanded and like did stuff better. Because it just seems like there was like a lot of rushing, especially because like you're telling two different stories at the same time that connect, and it's just like it seemed like so much was missing. And like you can tell that because in the Future arc, you see like when they do the Ultra Despair part, when they try to show them, they literally send Monica to space just to end that. And I mean, that could be because, you know, they feel a certain way about Ultra Despair Girls, even though I think the game is pretty decent. But I mean, mainly because the OST is amazing in that intro, you know, hey, dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that shit bangs. But yeah, you saw like how they rushed that, and like it seems like towards the end they were just rushing super duper fast, even trying to kill off Kuragui. Like they try to kill her off, but then like you see that she's still alive at the end. It just seems like there was so much rushing in this anime, and like that kind of hurt it because like there wasn't enough episodes, and plus with anime studios sometimes like they only can produce a certain amount, and it just seems like maybe they should have spent more time on one season than the other and did the full 24, and like maybe came back like a few years later or something and make the other one or something like that. It just seems like there was so much wasted potential with that because it just seemed like they were trying to fit too much into two different little arcs, and they each only had 12 episodes and like one episode of Hope, and then they did get an OVA, so I guess there was that one too. But it just seemed like they were trying to cram way too much, and that's why they were just rushing to try and finish stuff off, and that's why they basically just skip over Ultra Despair Girls, like how it finishes out, because they know they weren't going to make it like a second game, because you see they joke about that in V3, because they most definitely weren't going to. So I really didn't like in the despair arc, I should say, like how the way Hajime went to the Azul Kamakura like literally project, like how he was literally pushed because basically Juzo punches him, and like he already, I mean it basically shows, because Hajime already just felt a certain way about himself, because like you see that in the game, like when he finds out that he was part of the reserve corps, you see he has his self-doubt and stuff like that. Like, I kind of didn't like that was like the point that pushed him, especially in the anime when they display that Chiaki was there for him, and like the whole 78th or 77th class was literally there, the Danganronpa 2 class was literally basically friends with him. And I'm like, how does this push you? It just seemed like that was just kind of a weird way of just how he got pushed to like, literally go into that project and become who he becomes. It just seemed like that was kind of just off to me. It didn't seem like it fit that well. Like they could have done something better, but I mean at the same time it just adds like a little part to it. I don't know, that's just like a little nitpick I have, just because it just seems like they could have done it better, especially because he had people. It's not like all the people at the school were all the people that are part of Hope's Peak. Like they are literally just like looking down on him, because he literally had Chiaki and those other people from the class that he met a little bit of, but he mainly had Chiaki who was there for him. So I'm just like, it would have been different if like Chiaki literally just brushed him aside, like when she found out that he was part of the reserve corps. That would have been different, but she didn't. She actually liked him. She was waiting for him, and he just went down this path the way he did. I just feel like they could have done it different. I feel like they could have just done like a more darker turn, that the whole class, like literally the whole class, or literally Chiaki, they weren't messing with him when they found out he was a reserve corps, something like that. That would have been something different, but instead they went with the way they did, and I kind of didn't like that part, but it's like they could have done better there. And the future arc did seem very unnecessary, because like once you get to the future arc, you look at it and like, bro, this shit was unnecessary. A lot of it was just pointless. They could have done something different. Like I said, that battle royale, it was good, bad. Like I don't think they could have done like something so much different, like something to send the characters off like way better. That's why I said like they probably could have made the despair arc longer and maybe did 5 episodes for the future arc, just to show like where the characters are at now, like after everything that happened. And like that would have been way better. It just seemed like this future arc was like pointless. Like why did you need to do this extra killing game? You could have just like did something to close like the series off, especially because this was like this anime was supposed to close off the first 3 games, because like they were going in a different direction with B3. So it's just like, why did they need to do this future arc the way they did? They could have done it so much differently and so much better, and just like show them maybe how they're saving the world, or how they're still fighting like certain people that are part of like mess with Junko, stuff like that. How the world was changing since Junko's death, and since the Danganronpa 2 cast is literally out of their game and are back to normal people. Like there could have been so much they could have done, but it was wasted potential because they did it that way. But let's get into some of the disappointing things that didn't show up in this anime. I feel like one of the things I'm really mad they did not show is the Twilight Syndrome case. Because that literally happens in the game and we see them the way they are. But why did we not see this in the anime? Especially because you are already introduced all the different characters that were there, and they could have shown this, because there's a lot of aspects of that case that don't make sense, like the rocks, the fish tank, stuff like that, and how Fuuhiko's sister dies and stuff like that. There's like so much they could have done, because this would have been interesting to see, because we literally see like literally only pictures, and like that's about it of like in the Danganronpa 2, what was that, like case 3 or like chapter 3, we only get to see little stuff of that, where this we actually could have saw this, and it would have been interesting to see some of the stuff play out. Another thing I'm disappointed about is we didn't get more stuff from Danganronpa 0, because that would have been interesting to see, especially like when Junko turns into like, she literally turned, I forgot exactly what the one when she gets red hair, she turns into her, plus like the guy that's always been like her friend since like she was little. We barely even got to see him. Like I think there's only like a certain thing, I don't think we saw him at all now that I think about it. Maybe there was like a thing like he passed by, but I don't think we saw him at all. Like another thing I find disappointing is like we didn't get to see the Near World program, like how that was built and like all that. Like we should have got that, because it's like that was like another part of the thing I feel like we should have saw. Like there's a lot of aspects of the games that we should have saw play out in the anime, especially like in the Despair arc, because it could have gave us some of this past stuff and like why stuff were built, why stuff happened this way. Also, we could have saw like more stuff of like when Junko literally met the people from the Ultra Despair kids, like literally met them. Like we could have saw more stuff from there, and like how she literally put Monokuma, stuff like that. There's like so much we could have saw that we didn't see, that just sucks. It's like they could have done so much better, but they didn't, and that's like what makes it very disappointing. And like the last thing I want to say is that we could have saw the outcome of like when they left the school better. Like we could have saw like more in depth of like when they first left the school and like get into the future program and all that, and then you could see Byakuya go to like Tor City and all that stuff like that. There's like more stuff we could have saw that would have been better. And then also seeing like the outcome of like Danganronpa 2, like seeing like when they all finally like got out the machine, or like we could have got like 2 episodes of like Hajime going through and saving everybody, because that would have been interesting to see like what everybody's world is. But like I said, we did get that with Nagato, so that was interesting, so it was okay. But like I said, this anime was disappointing. I probably forgot a lot of stuff. You can let me know in the comments like what you thought was disappointing about this anime, or if you like this anime. Like I said, I still like the anime. It's pretty decent. Like I said, I like seeing certain aspects. Like I really enjoy seeing the Danganronpa 2 cast, because like in my opinion, they're my favorite people. Like all my favorite characters are in Danganronpa 2, and like I really like that game a lot compared to the other ones. But let me know, how do you feel about the anime? Let me know how you feel about the games and all that. Let me know if there's any. Let me know how if the anime was disappointing to you. Let me know what you thought was good happened in the anime. Let me know what you thought was bad. Let me know if you think I'm just tripping and like the anime was fire. But yeah, just let me know how you feel about this anime, because like I said, it's good, but it's bad. It has its faults. It's an okay watch. I would only, if I ever went back to this anime, I would only watch the Despair side, because I like seeing, like I said, I like seeing the Danganronpa 2 cast. But like I said, the future arc just seemed like it was so pointless, and it was kind of like a bad way just to end it off. And also, it just seemed like they were doing a lot of fan service for Danganronpa 2 and not really for Danganronpa 1 and other people, especially because you get to that Hope side and you just see that, oh, the Danganronpa 2 cast comes, they save the world. Stuff like that. There could have been so, because it just seems like it's a weird way to end off the series, especially because they're not getting another game that like literally with these cast of characters. It just seemed like it was a weird way. It seemed like they could have done so much better, so much more in the anime, I should say, but they didn't. But yeah, if you enjoyed, or if you're new, why not subscribe? Like the video if you enjoyed, dislike if you didn't, and let me know how you feel about the Danganronpa 3 anime. Let me know how you feel about it. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next video. Bye!